Old warplanes, new war. The question is, why is the United States suddenly bringing back a decades-old aircraft, and that too in a high-tech conflict? Is this a strategy or a sign of pressure? Well, let's break it down in the simplest way. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States, still the world's most powerful military, is facing an uncomfortable reality in its confrontation with Iran. This is not the kind of war it planned for, of course. Modern conflicts were supposed to rely on stealth jets, precision missile, overwhelming technological superiority. But on the ground and in the air, things are not going exactly as they were expected to. And that brings us to the surprising decision. The Pentagon has chosen to extend the service life of the Fairchild Republic A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known as Warthog, all the way to 2030. This aircraft first flew in 1970s during the Cold War. For years, the US military itself wanted to retire it, calling it outdated and vulnerable in modern warfare. So, the question, why bring it back now? Because wars don't always follow the theory, they follow reality. The A-10, it was built for just one purpose, to provide close air support. It flies low, it flies slow, and it carries a massive cannon designed to destroy ground targets like tanks and boats. In fact, in recent operation, it has reportedly been used against fast-moving targets in the Gulf, including hostile boats. In these kind of situations, high-end stealth jets, they are not always the best tool. Why? Because they are expensive, they are complex, and they are not designed for prolonged low-altitude engagement here. But this particular decision also reveals something deeper. There are growing signs that the US is under pressure, and that too from multiple fronts. Advanced platforms like Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II and the Boeing F-15E Strike Eagle, they are incredibly capable. But they are also costly to operate and to maintain. In prolonged conflict scenarios, sustaining them at scale, it becomes a challenge. And then there are support aircrafts like the Boeing KC-135 Stratotankers and Lockheed 130 Hercules, which are critical for logistics. That means refueling jets mid-air, transporting troops and equipments. So any strain or losses in this ecosystem, it can directly impact how long and how effective operations can actually continue. And this is where the A-10 fits in again. This is not stealthy, this is not futuristic, but this is durable, relatively cheaper to operate, and highly effective in specific combat roles. In a conflict where resources are stretched and rapid response is needed, reliability can sometimes matter more than sophistication here. But there's also another side of the story. Reports of aircraft losses and increasing operational demands are raising questions about long-term military planning here. Was the US too dependent on high-tech warfare? Did it underestimate the intensity and the duration of such conflict? And most importantly, is this a temporary adjustment or a sign of a larger shift in strategy? Because extending the life of an aircraft that was meant to be retired, it is not just a technical decision here, it's a strategic signal. Well, it suggests that the battlefield is now evolving faster than anybody ever expected. That even the most advanced military has to adapt in real time, and that sometimes older systems still have a role to play in modern wars. In the end, this is not just about one aircraft. Well, it is more. It is about wars that are fought and how even the strongest power, they are forced to rethink their approach when reality hits hard.